Hello and welcome to the City Council meeting of the City of Grass Valley. You're invited to attend City Council meetings in person at City Hall here, 125 East Main Street, or electronically at cityofgrassvalley.com or on the city's YouTube channel. Regular meetings are held at 6 p.m. on the second and fourth Tuesday of each month. Public comments can be submitted by voicemail at 530-274-4390 or emailed to public@cityofgrassvalley.com at any time. If you do it by 5 p.m. on meeting days, we'll get a copy. Otherwise, they'll be heard or read out loud or submitted later. Agenda reports and related materials are available online at cityofgrassvalley.com. Thank you so much. That was perfect timing. You can silence your cell phones if you would like. Please note that individuals who disrupt, disturb, impede, or render infeasible the orderly conduct of a meeting will receive one warning that, if they do not cease such behavior, they may be removed from the meeting. The chair has the authority to order individuals removed if they do not cease their disruptive behavior following the warning. No warning is required if an individual is removed. To remove an individual if that individual engages in a use of force or makes a true threat of force. Council chambers are wheelchair accessible and listening devices are available. If you call the city clerk 72 hours in advance, we are happy to accommodate. Again, 530-274-4390. We call this meeting to order, and our first order of business is the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Roll call, please, Taylor.
Councilmember Arbuckle?
Here.
Councilmember Bonamolo?
Present.
Councilmember Ivy?
Here.
Vice Mayor Caravelli is absent. Mayor Hodge?
Here.
4 members are present.
All right, the next thing on our agenda is the agenda approval. Are there any changes at this time?
No changes from staff at this point.
Excellent. I'll take a motion.
Move to approve.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? I also say aye. And next, report out of closed session from July 14th, 2024 at 3:30 p.m.
There was no reportable action from closed session.
Okay,
3 items on closed session.
thank you. Introductions and presentations. Number 1, we have a report from staff on a booth at the county fair.
Good evening. Dwayne Strasser, Community Risk Reduction Manager, City of Grass Valley. We recently found out that we had a last-second opportunity to get, and I was told I needed to use this word, one of the coveted booths, vendor booths at the Nevada County Fair. And it will be over near Gate 5 in the area of fire safety, near CAL FIRE, Forest Service, and the other related industries. It's specific to Measure B, but after speaking to staff, city manager, we realized that the challenge in the past that really made this hard is staffing a booth at the fair for the entire week, finding enough, qualified staff volunteers to do it. So I started thinking about it, and to me, the solution was to actually reach out to more than one agency. So we've spoken to all of our different departments here at City Hall, as far as police department, fire department, they're all in. We're going to borrow the fire department's Easy Up and presentation tools because it already says Grass Valley, Nevada City Fire Department on it. We've reached out to, actually Nevada City has decided that they will pitch in because we co-share fire services. We have very similar services as far as the DSI inspections. We share borders. So they will cover a few of the shifts for us because we have basically like interests. Some of the nonprofits now I've reached out to, the United Way, for example, at the recent Wildfire Festival, they have a safety brochure they put out. And so they're interested in coming and having a booth that actually has a little more clout that can bring people in to hear their message. We've reached out to CR Routes. They've recently been putting together a homeless-specific evacuation route plan for folks that don't have vehicles and transportation to get away if something happens. And then mainly like the newly formed FireSafe Coalition that focuses on Firewise community recruitment and building. They're going to attend, so they will actually kind of be our representative to pitch the Firewise community formation message. I'll be there with staff. We most likely will have one of our pieces of new fire fuels mitigation equipment, such as a skid steer or the RCU masticator on site with us at the booth, just for visual. Miranda, Kelsey, our staff have stepped up quickly. They're helping us put together a couple of videos that we will have on display that will be educational videos, and we will have literature. So I'm just throwing that out there. Because I'm also looking at 4 of our 5 city council members right now and expecting that there may be a shift or 2 that we can leverage you to show up. Depending on how the date falls, I think it's August 6th to the 10th, we may have an opportunity for the coffee with the mayor type session at the fair instead of here at City Hall. And I think all of you are qualified in one way or another on these topics, and I think the public, it'll give an opportunity for the public to have us concentrated in one place to come and talk to us. We're also looking, I haven't heard back yet, but we're looking at like NID to talk about the fire hydrant program maintenance system, as well as Trevor here with our staff. So we're going to try to cover multiple topics. We'll put together a small agenda that will go out to the media, so the radio stations, the Union newspaper, KNCO, KVMR. We'll tell the public, hey, at 10 a.m. we will have this person here on this topic, so they can reach out. And a lot of our staff here is not even aware of this yet, that I'm going to be grabbing them like Rocky as our fire marshal, folks like that. And Tim and staff have given me support to put this together, and we'll see how it goes this year. It'll be really our first big opportunity with Measure B for public education, for kind of a presence. We do have a town hall meeting coming up in Condon Park on July 30th that will happen before that. It's also fire safety related to a project over on Butler Street. But this will be kind of, I think, our kickoff for that part of the Measure B campaigns moving forward, just to get fire safety word out.
Excellent. Are there any questions from the council?
Sign me up.
There you go. We will put together like a list with the shifts, and we're actually at the point now where some of the folks we've reached out to, opposite of actually worrying about filling the shifts, we're already telling them that most likely they can only have 2 2-hour shifts instead of 3 or 4 that they're asking for. So I think that was kind of the solution, was bringing people together that, again, our police department, fire department separately, it's a major strain to try to take a week out of our working lives and our responsibilities. And the nonprofits are the same way. Most of the nonprofits basically verbalized to me they just simply couldn't afford it and don't have the tents and all the kind of the tabling, the presentation tools necessary. So for us to provide that, I think they can walk in and give their expertise for 2, 3, 4 hours, 1 or 2 of the days of the fair, and I think it'll be win-win for all of us to partner together. So
I think that's fabulous. This will work for you, but I think it's also kind of a public service announcement, which is to download those videos and make sure that you have them, because relying on the internet during the fair, it's very compacted.
that's smart. Yeah. I think a lot of the videos that, and the pictures that we have available, just because we're in this part of the industry, in this part of our service to the community, they're not aware of them. When they see them out there, I think some of them are very visually impactful as far as the zone 0, the 5-foot safety zone, and what happens if you don't follow those rules. And again, you guys saw that at the presentation a couple months ago, but I think we'll give the folks links on a flyer. So maybe we can start kind of the education, push out there and just let it take care of itself. So.
Oh, I love that. That's great. Coveted, you say, but that is quite far away from Job's Corn Dogs, but still a nice spot.
As the crow flies, I've already met 75 yards.
Excellent.
Because
Good to know. Very
I'm
important.
Scheduling my shifts around a walk over to the corn dog booth. So,
Thank you very much.
you guys good? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda, update from staff on the cleanup event that occurred on July 16th, the site of the future Dorsey Marketplace.
Good evening, Sergeant Clint Lovelady, Grass Valley Police Department. Thank you. So a quick just rundown of this project. It started probably about 5 months ago with us going out to the Dorsey future site of the Dorsey Marketplace. and really hiking the hills and realizing that there was a large population of unhoused individuals out there, and just the fire danger and the public safety issue that the hillside was presenting, and basically what we could do to address this and for the overall public safety and for the benefit of the city and the community. So we started working with the landowner and figuring out, what we could do, and kind of came up with the idea of mastication and working with Measure B and using their equipment and manpower to get out there and masticate the whole property. But it was more than that. It was how can we partner with other agencies within Nevada County and Grass Valley, and to address some of the root issues on the hill that are environmental impacts and starting the fires and creating public safety issues. So we started working with Nevada County Behavioral Health, the Hospitality House, and the Spirit Center to really address the root issue. And with using some funding and some grants from Behavioral Health, we were able to place 16 people into housing out of 30 that were on the hillside. So instead of just kind of moving them along into another place where, the issues are going to recreate, we were able to get half of them into housing. So, that helps with calls to service and increases the public safety, because that area is really unique in our city, because you have thousands of people that live on Dorsey and Sutton Way, and then you have the hospital to the left, and then you have a commercial complex behind you. And so if a fire was to go through there and, approach Dorsey, just the resources that it would take to evacuate all of that area and it approaching the Brunswick Basin. So we came up with the plan that we need to do two things. We need to get these people housed and, off the hillside and see if we can get them into resources, but also come in and masticate, all the fuels that the fire is going to burn and then run up the hill. So, and we were able to accomplish that. Like I said, 16 people went into housing. And with Measure B, we were able to, the property's 28 acres. Right now, I would say we're about 60% done masticating it. We have another 2 weeks, so by the end of that, majority of the property will be masticated. And I don't have any pictures for you right now, but if you were to drive up Highway 49 and look to your right as you're approaching Dorsey, you can see the progress. And if you get off the off-ramp, you can really see what Measure B's been doing for the city and just how great the property looks. So part of this was, the environmental impacts of the 30 people that have been living on the hills for years was the amount of trash and debris that was just spread out. And there was probably about 18 to 20 active camps that were on that hillside. And so obviously we're masticating, so we're taking away a lot of the concealment, so it kind of opens up the camps. Well, let's clean this up. So we had over 70 people, and I want to thank the Grass Valley Fire Department, Public Works, City Hall, City Manager, who else? Hospitality House, Spirit Center, Nevada County Behavioral Health, and other employees from the county and also from the community. I had scheduled the cleanup block for 4 to 5 hours, but because we got so many people and they worked extremely hard, I was actually really amazed. We got the majority of it done in 2.5 hours. So on last Wednesday, we took 110 yards of trash out of there. So that's basically 3 of those large waste management dumpsters, to put it. And then we didn't stop there. We ran out of some of our Baxters. So there's probably about another 30 yards of trash that's currently out there that's in big trash bags. So on Thursday, we're going to load up the rest of that and work with Public Works and Measure B and get it out of there. So it's turned out to be a great project for us. So overall public safety has just been extremely enhanced. The city of Grass Valley and the county of Nevada is in a much better place. Thank you.
Excellent. Are there any questions from the council?
No, I don't have any questions, just good job. I know it's something I've participated in those cleanups before, and it is not easy work, and kudos to everybody that was able to show up. I would have been there, except I was in Ohio, unfortunately, but kudos to everyone. You guys did a great job. It looks great.
Thank you.
Yeah, I echo that sentiment. I know how many volunteers put in time and how much heart was put into this, and I really appreciate the preservation of humanity and the human-focused approach to this and getting behavioral health involved in all of that. So what a win-win. Teamwork makes the dream work. So thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Council.
Impressive, thank you.
The next item on our agenda is public comment. Public comments may be submitted by voicemail at 530-274-4390 or email to public@cityofgrassvalley.com by 5 p.m. Or anytime really, for distribution before the meeting though, 5 p.m. Comments received after 5 p.m. will be addressed during the item or at the end of the meeting. Each person is limited to one type of public comment, voicemail, email, or in person, and a 3-minute time limit. Speaker cards for non-agenda items must be submitted before public comment opens and are available at the desk. 30 minutes of public comment will be heard under this item in order the speaker card assigned, and the remaining general public comments will be heard at the end of the meeting. If you are commenting on something that has been agendized, you can wait until that comes up to comment on that. But if you have something that's not agendized, we will go ahead and begin with number 1.
Good evening, esteemed council and mayor, esteemed Mayor Hodge, and wonderful council. Robin Galvin Davies, Greater Grass Valley Chamber, Grass Valley Downtown Association, Executive Director. My first public comment is thank you. The sidewalks on South Auburn Street on the Grass Valley Pasty side are looking mighty fine, and they are easy to walk on and level. It's really wonderful. So we're looking forward to the completion of all the work on South Auburn Street. Big hooray. It's a huge job. Having great new infrastructure will be a bonus for our downtown. And speaking of downtown, the Grass Valley Downtown Association is taking a pause in their event schedule. We are delighted that we had a very successful Thursday night market and 4th of July. Happy to have the parade here in Grass Valley again this year. And we are just going to tread water until early September when we have Magical Evening on Mill on Sunday, September 7th. So it truly is a magical evening, and we hope that you'll join us there. But in the meantime, the Chamber is putting on a party. So this Thursday, the 24th, from 5 to 7:30, you've got to come out to the Grass Valley RV Resort, where they are hosting a tasting away in Margarita RVville. So it is a dive in, come and splash around the pool. It's a pool party. Really and truly, bring your swimsuits, come and paddle around, come and mix and mingle and just have a great time. They are doing margarita tastings with agave tequila, little ones, of course, since we're all being responsible about getting home after the event. But we will have food for purchase there, and we will have a business tabletop presentation as well, but this is going to be fun. So you don't want to swim, just come and mix and mingle, but you can play bocce ball, horseshoes, or if you're really, really looking forward to burn some calories, come play pickleball. So again, it's this Thursday from 5 to 7:30, Grass Valley RV Resort out off of McCourtney and South Auburn, the old South Auburn Road. Hope to see you there.
Thank you for your comment. Next person for public comment. Number 3.
Well, I guess I'm not supposed to talk till later.
Oh, okay. So number 4?
Okay.
Good evening, council members. Bob Brandstrom. I live at Wolf Creek Lodge Co-housing in the beautiful city of Grass Valley, and I am number 4. Several things. First off, last night's celebration for Howard and Peggy Levine was great. I appreciate the city acknowledging everything that they've done with the star over on the corner. So thank you for doing that. I want to talk briefly about Wolf Creek Trail maintenance. It's frustrating as a regular user of the trail to see when there is something that needs work, that it takes months and months and months to repair it. For example, there was a tree fell quite a while ago, damaged about a 6-foot or maybe 8-foot section of trail on the edge. I believe it took 10 months for that to be repaired, and all it took was about a dozen retaining wall blocks, some gravel, and then some asphalt pounded in on top of that. Once they started working on it, it happened really fast, but it was cordoned off and looked ugly with caution tape for months and months and months. Currently, the other eyesore is the chain link fence that has been partially removed along the trail near the mining museum. The new fencing up the hill that's out of sight has been there for some time. In May, I noticed that most of the chain link fencing had been removed. However, nothing's happened since May. There's still about 1/10 of the chain link stuff that's just hanging there, bent. There's cables that string along the top of the poles, and the poles are still there. And if we're going to do it and maintain it, we need to do that and get it done, not just let it sit for months in a half-completed state. There's the old rule, the broken window rule that I'm sure you're all familiar with. You don't want your trail, which is a gem for the city, to look crappy, because it lowers the impression people have of the city. Finally, I want to just mention that I noticed yesterday out at the corner of Main and Mill that the pedestrian signal boxes and audible signals have been completely removed from the posts. And I talked with Marnie, who spoke before the council at public comment last year, saying she's blind, she cannot navigate that intersection. Now she can still cannot navigate that because there is no way without an audible signal for her to get across that. My concern here is possible violations of the American with Disabilities Act. The last thing the city needs is a lawsuit for not taking care of this. So, thank you.
Thank you for your comment. Next person for public comment, number 5? Nope. Nobody in the chambers. Do we have anybody online?
Yes, this is Patty Galley. I never worked so hard, cared so much, or failed so badly when it came to getting justice for Matthew Coulter when justice was most deserved. And I'll die in hell before I give up exposing what gross and deliberate monsters you are to harass someone with false claims and try to put him in jail or have his restraining order extended. Hillary, you are a disgrace to your office and to the citizens. Today, you made up shit that was not true and did so with the intent to harass a citizen. What an outstanding mayor you are. You and the rest of the city that supports this are despicable, and the police are running the charge by filing such a false and deplorable case to the DA. And don't give me this shit the DA decides. No, the police can decide, and they should have seen this for what it was and went about real crime. But when it comes to Matthew, it's never true. I have so many examples of how you have harassed him and falsely accused him, using measuring tape to try to justify he took a fucking picture of a mattress is an insane example. Maybe you were all laughing and having a champagne party that you got him reported to the DA today. You are worse than a pack of dogs on a wild killing spree. I might die in hell, but you'll all be there for your disgusting way of life and how you treat others.
Hi, this is Matthew Coulter, leading public comment for the July 22nd City Council meeting for Grass Valley, California. And I'd like to first mention about the meetings and the fact that the Zoom has been working for quite a long time. When I was able to get it, I had to watch on Zoom and listen on YouTube because the sound was so bad. And there's been approximately $100,000 put into the audio and the availability to produce these meetings to the general public as required under the Brown Act, and the city has not stepped their end of the bargain whatsoever. That's very sad. Dorsey Marketplace, that definitely needs some wattles put up, because as soon as it rains, all that moon dust that you guys made is just going to wash right down the hill into Wolf Creek. We know that we have the problems with mud runoff here in all the projects, and the city shouldn't be the leader of the environmental destruction that's happening. Leave that to the developers that you're helping. The people that were moved off Dorsey Marketplace are now living over on Idaho, Maryland, and Bennett Street camps, the majority of them. Continuing environmental destruction. I'm hoping the closed session can be talked about. You guys didn't come out and report what happened in closed session last Monday at 3:30 at that special meeting. And for my final part of my comment, I'd like to mention that the mayor, Hillary, is making false police reports again, just like she has done repeatedly, including with her DUIs. This is troubling that she's able to lie to the police, either to protect herself from something or to punish other people she believes need to be punished. In this case, it was me. She called the police on me, saying she saw me walking on the street. Therefore, that triggered her into the point of conniption. And as I had to train her years ago, and I'm sure you guys are all aware of also that public photography is not illegal. I take a lot of pictures in town every single day. Many people are in the pictures that aren't intended to be in the pictures. Most of them are scenic pictures, and I don't even want the people in the pictures. So, Hillary, I didn't see you today. I was walking up the street through that very narrow passageway that you approved in front of the freaking Serenos that is so dangerous for pedestrians, just trying to negotiate the streets. You don't have time to look at people. You got to watch what's on the ground around here. It's a fucking nightmare. So stop calling the cops on people and stop drinking. Thank you.
And that is the end of the general public comment.
Excellent, thank you. Next item on the agenda are, close public comment. Oh, we will close the public comment. Next item on the agenda is consent. All items on the consent calendar are considered routine and will be approved with one motion unless pulled for separate discussion by the council, staff, or public before the vote. A council roll call vote is required to remove any item. Public comment on the consent calendar as a whole is allowed and limited to 3 minutes per person. Are there any public comments on the consent? I see none in the chambers. How about online?
This public comment touches on almost every item on the agenda, consent and not. Do you want me just to play it all, just so it's all in one fell swoop rather than trying to piecemeal it together?
Yeah, I think that'll.
Hi, this is Matthew Coulter making public comment for the agenda items on the City Council agenda on the 22nd of July. Number 2, I think that might be just a report, but if there is public comment, my public comment on that is the mud runoff that will take place and the mine dust that is blowing off that property of the Dorsey cleanup project that you guys just overkilled all the way to the dirt. Unfortunate, I understand, and it's unfortunate that it was allowed to fester to 30 people living up there and the fires and such. Number 4, the overkill of the nesting habitat with your masticating. All you're doing is opening up the raw soil for invasive species to grow, and it'll have to be masticated every year for blackberries and Scotch broom, because that is what now you are growing by the bushel. Number 5, the tax increase. That's pretty sad that a 2.9% tax increase is going to hit the people at this time, along with the other retail sales tax increase for the same issue for fire. The number 6, the sewer and water on the tax roll. The county just went ahead and did that today. Nevada City too, I'm sure you're aware of. And this is just a way to get property from old people. If they owe $100, then you guys are on them. And there is no scale to say, okay, that's not enough to take your property. And so they're on the chopping block and they're on that list to lose their property over a very small amount of money owed for sewer or water or some other mandatory things that they are having to have in the city of Grass Valley. There should be a cap amount listed in the agenda. So we know, is it $500? Is it $100? You know, when are you going to take grandma's house? That would be really nice to know. And number 8, the historical update. I'd like the Historical Commission to all go visit the train station and look at the graffiti and look at the Sarah Kidder Monument with the dead trees that have been dead now for several years. And it's a sad representation of how Grass Valley honors its history. Thank you very much.
And that is the end of the public comments.
Excellent. I will now close public comment on the consent. And unless there are comments from the council, I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? That passes.
Mayor, real quick, could we have like a 2-minute recess?
Yeah.
Or just to reboot something?
Okay. We'll be taking a 2-minute recess. The next item on our agenda is public hearing, and this is the collection of the delinquent sewer and water accounts for the Nevada County tax roll. Jen?
Okay, so we're up. So good evening, Mayor and Council. So tonight I am running a public hearing to request the council to approve the placement of the delinquent water and sewer bills on the Nevada County property tax roll under the California Health and Safety Code Section 5473. This is used for utility services that cannot be shut off for people who have not paid for uncollected bills for water and sewer. This is not for a tax. This is for water and sewer services, services that have been provided over the past year that have not been paid by consumers. This is also property owners have been notified twice that these were going to council. This has also been per state law for them to be notified. There's an updated list that has been provided to council that has been provided on the dais. That's updated since the last list that was provided last Thursday. As of today, there's 103 delinquent charges that are eligible for placement, which is about $175,000. And right now, we do send these to the county right around August 10th. I don't have the exact date in front of me. If these are paid prior to that date, they will be taken off and they will not be submitted. I will be waiting till pretty much the last minute that I can, working with the county. So if they are paid, we do plan on pulling them off of this list. So that is something that we do plan on doing to get the least amount of people that we do have to be putting onto this. So we'll be actively working on that list. And I do want to also note that we do have, year over year, we do have some customers that are on this list on a consistent basis because there are people that do choose not to pay their bills and just choose to have it on a tax bill on a yearly basis, and then other people for some reason just have not paid. So, but under California law, we do have to bring this to council for approval to be able to put it on a tax roll for collection. When it does go on the tax roll of Nevada County, you guys do follow the teeter plan, which basically means that the county, they will end up paying the city upfront for the property taxes, and then it'll be on the county for them to follow up with a collection from the property owner to be able to collect it. So with that, that's just the brief overall of how this works. This is done annually, and That's the end of the presentation that I currently have.
Thank you. And I just want to clarify because of the public comment, this is not a tax that we are implementing. This is services that are already rendered for people who did not pay for the services rendered. And we're streamlining the process by moving it over to the county's tax rolls. And that a lot of people do this regularly.
Correct.
Okay.
And it is, again, it is allowed by the California Health and Safety Code because you cannot just say you haven't paid, we're just gonna turn it off. You can't turn off water and sewer. There's not a knob that you say, okay, you don't use your sewer, we're gonna turn it off. It is a service that needs to be provided.
Great. Are there any other questions at this time from council?
We take so many houses this way, right? We take just entire houses from these people, just tons and tons, everyone on the list? Is that what I heard you say?
To take their houses?
Yeah, their entire.
No, I've
That was a
never-
public comment?
No,
Oh,
we've never taken a
I was
house for this, no.
I
This
know.
is just to be able to collect the fees.
Trying to make light of
Yeah, I
light
know.
of the, yeah, thank you.
No, we are not in the service of taking people's houses for not paying their service. We're just trying to collect. If people don't pay for their service, what it does is it just causes us having to increase rates for everybody else. So we're just trying to collect for everybody as a whole so that we don't have to collect for those that are not paying and increase rates for everybody else that provides a service.
And if I could just add one thing, those people that were originally generated on this list, we also do payment arrangements. So we can spread the bill over a period of time if they come in and work with us. So a lot of the people that were originally on the list have come in. We've worked with them on a payment arrangement so that it doesn't necessarily have to go on the tax roll. So there are options for people. But as Jennifer has said, there is a group of people that would just prefer to pay their sewer bill on the tax rolls. I can't tell you why. They're the same names since I've been here. And that's their choice. Maybe they like it, it's easier, I don't know. But I just wanted to clarify that our staff does do everything that we can to help people not go on the tax rolls and help them through this process when they're behind on their bills.
Excellent. Thank you for that clarification. I will now open it up to public comment. I don't see any public comment here. Are there any comments online? I know we already heard from one person on this issue.
There's no additional public comments as of this moment.
Okay, excellent. I will now close public comment and bring it back to council for any additional comments or questions.
I have some comments.
Go ahead.
Okay, so this may be an unpopular opinion amongst staff and city council. But if you were to take a look at this in a constitutional scope, it is, this really does violate Article 1, Section 9 of California State Constitution, as well as Article 1, Section 10 of the United States Constitution, in that you cannot fine and fee people in debtor's prison administratively. So even though it may be unpopular, I mean, I'm going to stand up for the people and say, over the last 4 or 5 years, there's been an incredible struggle to stay above water, stay above board, to keep above water for bills and payments and administrative types of fees like this. So, I would try to rally for the people a bit and say, to support our constitutional oath that we take in representing the people, is that, to assess them by putting this on the tax roll, to me, is unconstitutional. Some people may deserve a pass on this if they're just consistently struggling. I mean, it's a consideration, in the big scheme of things, $100 and whatever $1,000 is not a lot of money when we can, spend millions on projects within the city or, other financial obligations. Like I said, it's probably not a popular opinion, but I think it's one that I must make, because if you are to take into consideration the constitutional aspects of this, to fine and fee people, to, ex post facto law, bills of attainder. It's rough to stick it to the people, and so it's a reason why I will not support it.
But Joe,
Yeah.
you do understand that this isn't a tax, that these people already got their water and they're not paying for it. And so it makes other people be forced to have to pay for it. It's not a tax.
I do.
It's for services rendered,
Yeah.
and it's also not like a debt collection. It's a streamlined process so that the people who owe the money to the city, the highest bill on here is $4,400.
No, it's 13,000.
Oh, okay. Well, there's obviously someone with a really big property. I didn't see that one. But, okay.
Yep.
But most of
yeah.
these are like in the 200, 300 range, and they can make payments. And we don't want to have, we don't take anybody's houses for this. This is their water bill that we already paid for as a city.
Yeah.
And we are beholden to our taxpayers as a whole to care for their investment and their shared resources. And these are the people who took the water without paying.
I
And,
yeah.
and
Yeah.
in addition to that, and I know that this is your first time through this because it is a little uncomfortable, but there are a lot of people on here because they have impound accounts and things like that. They just have everything done through the county because maybe they have a rental and they don't want to have to deal with the water bill, which is kind of, like a way to get around paperwork. That's not exactly how bills are supposed to be paid, but that's, I guess, an option. But these, the water has been used. And if they don't pay their bills, other people in the community and the other taxpayers have to make up for it somehow. So it's not fair to the people who
Well-
have really tried hard to do the right thing, who do pay their bills.
Sure.
And we are accountable to everyone in our community.
I comprehend that. I still think that, water it's a right to have water. It's an uninfringible, unalienable right that, people have to survive with water. As I mentioned, there's been a terrible, time for people to keep above water in the last 4 or 5 years. And it's a slippery slope, because if we establish that you can do this for say water, and I know this is something that's passed at the county level. I mean, I know people that have lost their homes in the county as recent in the last couple of years over, over these types of administrative fees. So ultimately, when you boil it down to a constitutional outlook, I got to stick by the people and support them because, it is a right to have water. And if you can't pay for it, and other people can afford it in this community to kind of cover, that's what community is all about. And I think, overall, this is representing the taxpayer at its finest because, these are the types of issues that when people are having a rough time sustaining just paying, the rent or, for groceries, then we need to take a look at that and maybe find some other solutions.
So I don't disagree with you that water is a human right. You and I see eye to eye on that. And the systems by which to solve that are not on the backs of Grass Valley's taxpayers. So the principle is correct, but this is not the hill for that. And it's not a constitutional issue. These are just unpaid bills. And if we don't approve this, basically we're making our staff have to work to make sure that these bills get paid. And you are taking more time and money from our community who did the right thing for people who may or may not be struggling at all. There are probably people on here who are just not interested in doing the right thing for their community and paying their bill and would rather it get kicked down the road. So we're not saving anybody and their water by doing this. We're making the problem worse. But if you want to work on water as a human right, I will work on that with you. But not by throwing the rest of Grass Valley under the bus because a few people didn't do the right thing and pay their water bill.
Yeah.
Are you really, really not going to support this? Because you want to throw the Constitution and the rest of our community out with a few people on this list. If there's one or two people on this list that you know personally who are struggling, let's go talk to them.
Yeah.
But don't do that for the entire city population and then create a giant stack of paperwork for our staff and waste taxpayers' time on what has been created to be a streamlined process. We're trying to do this so that our staff can be freed up to do other things, like reach out to the community at the fair and let them know, you know, how they can make their homes fire safe. So when the next fire comes and doesn't ask you what you think about, you know, the process by which taxpayers have to pay for services already rendered. You know, this is just procedural. And
Yeah.
I will absolutely work with you on the back end to think about how to solve the water issue. But please don't make staff have to deal with all these bills. They have tried. We do this every single year, and it's the same people over and over and over who make it a headache. I would, you know, it would be nice if we didn't have to put it all into one chunk in one bill and do it that way. But given the repeat names on this list, that seems to be the only way for them to be accountable to the rest of their community. And again, for those who are actually struggling and need help, we are here to help them. That's what the city does. That's what we are for.
Yeah, I mean, I fully understand or comprehend what you're trying to say. I just think, you know, fundamentally, this is very constitutional. You know, we have a lot of overreach by government already, and a lot of administrative policy that costs our citizenry continuously. You know, many people. This isn't just a few people; it's a lot of people. I actually did reach out and talk to a couple people on this list. You know, the businesses, I don't feel as much. You know, support for. However, you can look at some of these businesses and you know they're struggling. You know, small business, especially over the last 4 or 5 years, has been hit hard as well. So, you know, I mean, it's in the big scheme of things, you know, we spent $100,000 staining Mill Street, you know, and then you're collecting $140,000 on, you know, probably over, I don't know, near 60, 70 names, maybe 100 names. To me,
It's not just gonna be that we're gonna take money out of the general fund and expunge this. These people owe this money. The rest of the community has paid the bill.
sure.
This isn't like, you know, a service to the community.
It should be. You know, that's,
And if that's something you wanna work on, we can do that in the future, but the people who owe for the water they already used should be beholden to the rest of their community, or come to us and let us know how we can help them.
yeah, maybe the communication could be better, you know, between parties. So I'm still gonna just, I'm gonna stand by what I said constitutionally, and I think that's why, you know, I took the oath, and I think a lot of people would appreciate what I'm doing here. So.
Okay.
Madam Mayor, in terms of procedure, so under the Health and Safety Code that authorizes this process, it does require a 2/3 vote of the entire membership. So that's 4 out of 5 votes. And since we don't have our full complement, one option that the council would have would be to continue this item and bring it back at a special meeting when we can get all 5 council members to consider this item.
If you
Because at
consider
this
that, I'll
point, we
make
need
that motion.
4, we will need 4 affirmative votes in order to put this on the tax roll.
Okay. And
If you'll consider that, I will make that motion that we have a special meeting and put this off to that special meeting.
yeah, I think we do need to have a full discussion of the body, so I would entertain a motion to
So moved.
stay this next meeting. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Okay. Roll call vote, maybe?
Councilmember Arbuckle?
Yes.
Councilmember Bonamolo?
No.
Councilmember Ivy?
Yes.
Mayor Hodge?
Yes.
Motion passes.
So we will continue this conversation at the next meeting.
We will have to schedule a special meeting, so you should probably
Oh,
look
okay.
for something from the clerk regarding that, scheduling that.
Okay, stay tuned. We will let the public know when we will receive this. Okay, the next item on the agenda is administrative. Local buyback and compost facility feasibility study, an R3 proposal.
For the record, Tim Keyser, your city manager. I'll handle this item tonight. To just give a little bit of a background on this, we've had concerned citizens come before us about various recycling things that we should be looking at. Councilmember Ivy and I actually met with Nevada City after looking at a couple different things on the CRV, California Redemption Value Buyback Program, and its lack of use. Understanding the implications we are having with food waste, knowing that there's going to be similar processes like that for clear plastic coming down, and also looking at how can we deal with our food waste more cost effectively. We kind of met with Nevada City and kicked around a couple ideas focused around this, and we met with we both use the same consultant, R3, that helps us out with our food waste and some of our monitoring. They made a suggestion after talking about this that they thought there could be a good possibility if you were to combine all three of those in one location, that they would be cost effective. Independently, it causes problems just because you don't have enough volume sometimes, or the distance is too far for people to use it and those kind of things. So what staff is proposing, and Nevada City is taking this to one of their committees also to consider, is doing a joint feasibility study between the two agencies. We would split the cost and look at things that would look at reducing the transportation costs and the emissions that are currently being created by our organic waste program, because everything is being shipped to the Lincoln area or further. In addition to it, it's quite expensive. So is there a way for us to look at that and do something local that could be cost effective and help us maybe with these other two items, make a CRV buyback program work a little better, that has better access for people to use than having to go only out to basically the transfer station right now in Nevada County to do it, giving people another option. And then finally, try to get ahead of this plastic film and food waste containers that are going to force to be recycled. And instead of reacting to what the state is doing, maybe we can look at working with some folks that have come here and do something proactive. And can we combine all these three things kind of together to make something productive? With that, I don't know if Councilmember Ivy would like to add anything, but staff's recommendation is that we move forward, pay our share out of our contingency fund within the budget, and look at this as a potential thing that could help our citizens both short-term and long-term. With the composting side of it, we would look at using Measure B funds. That's one of the goals within Measure B, was to look at solutions for green waste and how could we, remove those and not have those also go down the hill. So for the small amount for this study, a portion we would be looking forward to come out of Measure B also. So it would be a small hit to our contingency using Measure B. So maybe $7,000 to the general fund and $5,000 to Measure B.
Yeah. May I?
Yes.
Thank you, Tim. The goal here, and I'm just going to sum up what Tim said, is that there's a lot of various funding resources on the table, but none of them are quite enough to get some of these waste streams to a financially sustainable place locally. And so how can we combine these efforts together to share admin costs, share upfront costs to make it doable locally? And then continue to give ourselves resources moving forward. Like I said at the last meeting, we have this new wave of SB 54 requirements coming down the pipeline. I think in the next 2 to 3 years will be the first. And so it would be nice to figure out how we can take care of that as a community and save ourselves money. So, and then lastly, I suspect we'll hear from some folks in the room, and it would be remiss to say that our local citizens haven't been doing the work themselves without government and asking for help and providing incredible examples of what this community can do.
Okay, I have a question.
Yeah.
Just a question quickly about Measure B funds. You said that this is part of the mission and the parameters for using Measure B funds, correct?
Yes, that is correct. As part of Measure B, we put aside in the expenditure plan about $50,000 a year to look at ways to resolve green waste issues. More what we're looking at with Measure B would be forestation and those kind of things. But those kind of things are going in the green waste containers right now. So if there was a way for us to get those out of the green waste containers and not have to ship them down the hill, and we could turn it into compost or something more beneficial with the food waste, it could provide us a double benefit. One, reducing or maintaining our garbage rates, but also a stream for people to bring wood chips and other debris to add to the composting to make it work better. So last year, we budgeted money, just for your knowledge, to look at what West Biofuels, our bioenergy kind of alternative. They did that work 100% on themselves, so we have not had to spend any Measure B money right now looking at some of these options. So that's why I kind of brought that up, is that composting could be a very viable opportunity for some of the material that we have issues in our fire community.
Yeah, just one more question. Has it gone before the Measure B committee?
That was part of
Was it part of the initial?
Yes, as part of there's money set aside each year to look at. We did not do we didn't tell them specifically what we would be doing with the money, but looking at options of how do we reduce the green waste and coming up with solutions for both short-term and long-term.
And just to be crystal clear, the cost of working with R3 is roughly, it's a $25,000 plan. And so we're not talking about an ongoing financial commitment. We're just talking about a small portion of funds set aside for the initial analysis. So I don't know that you were asking that, but I just wanted to make that clear amongst.
No, because I agree with what you're doing. I just want to make it clear, because when we passed Measure B, we were so specific about how that money was going to be spent. And I just want to make sure that we live up to what we committed to the voters.
Yes, that is in the expenditure plan that was adopted by council, to put $50,000 aside a year out of the money we collect with Measure B to look at options for us to resolve the green waste issues that we have. Because right now, if you cut down a tree in Grass Valley, the majority of that cost is getting rid of the logs.
Sure.
So that's kind of, the things that we'd be looking at. Could you chip those logs and then make compost out of them, for example? Or even if we have bioenergy and they are taking the logs, there's other elements of the vegetation that does not burn as well as logs that compost well. So it would be looking at that side of things.
Okay. I just wanted to be, make that clear that we're not misusing the Measure B funds that we promised and made the commitment to the voters for.
I think that is something that staff strives to make sure that we view Measure B as a gift. And I appreciate council making sure that this is being used correctly, because it is kind of a gift for us to move forward and improve our community.
Thank you. No other questions from council? We can open it up to public comment. Come on down.
I was going to say, I know Shirley's here for this.
I'm sorry.
My name is Debbie Gibbs, and I'm a member of Nevada County Climate Action Now, and also I serve as a citizen at large for the Solid Waste Commission for the county, and Councilmember Ivy is on that also. So as he knows, we've had many discussions amongst those folks in terms of how to resolve some of the issues that this particular proposal would take care of. I felt for a long time we need a centralized place where citizens can take their waste rather than going out to the transfer station. I mean, the use of fuel, I mean, the emissions impact, the inconvenience, and I am one who takes I want my $5, 5 cents back on my can, so I go to, take the trek, and I can only take 50. They will not take more than 50, so I just have 2 bags, with the appropriate number. So the service, I mean, it's just not it's not great community service. So I was really delighted to see this proposal come forward. It makes sense to me. I looked at the statement of work and I thought, this makes sense. I think you need somebody, the city staff are busy, and it's going to take some investigation to find good examples, to find ways to do this, to really look at the community and see where are the avenues that we might take. So a proposal like this and a feasibility study just seemed to me to be good government. And quite frankly, I don't see things moving at the county hosted group, even though we have cities and Truckee who does have a way to deal with this. I don't see it moving there. So my compliments to at least this whole problem being advanced and a study being proposed. And my 2 colleagues have more detailed information. I mean, the single-use plastic Chris will talk about, and I mean, gosh, that's been 3 years in the making, and a testament to what volunteer effort can do to support, something that, and we all know about the issue with plastic, so hats off to what volunteers have done. And I know Shirley has also done a lot on the buyback issue. So I will turn the floor over to them. And again, just thank you for your attention to this matter. And I hope if you have not already gathered this, I really support this proposal for the feasibility study. Thanks.
Thank you for your comment. Next person for public comment.
Good evening. I'm Christine Newsom. I'm a resident of Grass Valley, and I did speak before you a few months ago, so you may remember. I'm not really here to bring any new information, but just to reiterate what a blight and a problem the plastic film issue is locally. And I know in the minutes, the agenda, it said clear plastic, and I just want to clarify, it's not clear plastic per se. For example, the hard clear plastic that you get beverages in and so forth, they already have end-use buyers that, for the most part, reproduce items from that plastic. So what my concern is, on behalf of the Nevada City Rotary, is plastic film, clear plastic film. And, when we first got started collecting this stuff, I personally thought maybe it was just a kind of a niche problem. I wasn't sure the extent of the problem. It is enormous. I just went by Yuba Blue today, that's one of my sites, and took out 40 pounds in 4 huge, 55-gallon bags. And she is a merchant who's very motivated, and so are all of the sites where we do have our collection bins, both the merchants and the customers of those merchants who bring their stuff in. I have no way of knowing what percentage those people represent of the general population, but I am sure it's a small fraction. The point of that is that people who are not motivated right at the moment to be participating in this program are putting all that stuff in their waste. And so if a facility such as you're discussing were available, I think the potential not only for CRV usage and of course compost creation, which would be a wonderful boon for our local farmers, but the ability to efficiently repurpose all this clear plastic film with I think the ultimate user might be the Trex company, although that would probably be developed in the feasibility study. But there will be end-use merchants out there or businesses out there that will buy this stuff. And I think it will show up, if the system gets developed, I think will really show up in an enormous amount of stuff kept out of the landfill. So thanks again for this great idea.
Thank you for your comment. Next person for public comment.
Shirley Frericks, turning in my number 3 here. This is a brilliant way to come at this, to put all 3 of them together. I didn't know this until I just read this recently, because the inconvenience of people having to go out there to the transfer station. I mean, I hear it all the time. I do a lot with community, tapping in, and they really don't like that a lot. And so they don't do like CRV. They just don't, and they say, oh, it's not worth it. Well, it is worth it if you get a whole bunch of it together. I mean, that's the point, is a lot of it together. So I'm delighted, for the CRVs. If we collect the CRVs, they for sure get reprocessed. And forget the word recycling. It's reprocessing. If they don't get the reprocessing, then they're still trash, right? They're still trash. So this on the CRV thing, I'm really delighted that we can get an easier way for people to bring those in and get their money back. On the compost, Debbie's the compost person, but I looked this up. I just got this lovely little report from CalRecycle about how much film, clear non-black, flexible and film items are part of this last survey that they did on, what's their words? Proportion of total statewide disposal. So they had all these categories, and the flexible and film was one of them. So I added it all up. Out of the total 40 million tons of stuff that goes into the landfill trash, can you believe 1,236 tons, or 3.09%, is film? That's a lot. And all of that becomes methane, right? All of that degrades into microplastics. And microplastics is my current thing with microplastic and health, and how, it's really affecting people, and it's affecting soil, and it's affecting everything else. So, I just, bravo. I would just know that it's a big problem. Nationally, internationally, we're about to have the plastic treaty, and it's a big problem. It's a big thing. It adds up. I mean, and that's not weighty. So we're looking at a lot of stuff in order to make 1 million tons, right? So, and of course, what Rotary has been doing to collect, and all the volunteers is heroic. And so, thank you. Let's go forward. Hey, thank you.
Thank you for your comment. Welcome back.
Good evening, council members. Bob Brandstrom again from the city of Grass Valley. I have no problem with the project itself of doing the study. I think it may actually provide useful information to the city. My concern is the same as expressed by Councilmember Arbuckle. When I first saw this, I thought, what? A recycling study? And you're going to spend fire mitigation funds on this? That doesn't make sense, because I know what the council voted for. And when the council voted to tell the public before they voted what we would be spending the money on, it was for additional firefighting personnel, wildfire risk land management, and other fire safety related measures. That did include funding for long-term studies on green waste solutions. And in fact, the budget that was reviewed by the Measure B committee, I looked at that yesterday, and it had $70,000 in it for the budget. So that is in there. However, I don't think that the public's perception of green waste includes getting rid of cannabis waste, which is what the R3 proposal actually says. And I can read to you from the proposal that the proposed scope of work includes research general permitting requirements for compost handling facilities with a particular focus on cannabis handling and associated regulatory requirements. Nowhere in their proposal do they use the word fire. And so I have a real problem with this, even though it's well-intentioned and some of it may be used to research what do we do with fuel reduction waste that we'll be developing here in the city. I'm concerned about public perception, and I'm concerned about the public trust. This measure passed by 20 votes because, and only by that amount, because the public does not trust the city to spend its money the way we say we're going to spend it. And I promise you, even if you're doing it for some fire-related stuff, is it worth $5,000 out of Measure B funds to have this come up and bite you in the butt 2 years from now, 3 years from now, or next week? Because the public sees this as money not spent for fire risk reduction. So I would, one option would be to make sure that the resolution that you pass has the word fire reduction activities or fuel reduction or something in it as part of the green waste. Alternatively, just move that $5,000 out, pay for it all out of the general fund that you're talking about, and avoid any possible misunderstanding from the public.
Thank you for your comment.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Do we have anybody else for public comment in the chambers? Are there anybody online? Is there anybody online?
There's no additional public comments.
Okay. I will now close public comment. And I think it is important to address the issue of what the proposal says. And I don't know if they used a boilerplate or if they were tailoring it more to Nevada City. My feeling is that there aren't a lot of people with 6 plants in their closet, at least not enough within the city limits to warrant some sort of special. I know that cannabis waste does have special handling instructions because of its particular qualities and uses. I don't think that that will be the majority of the compost we'll see coming out of the city. Do we need them to clarify in their proposal or something? Because I know that the spirit of what we are trying to accomplish is a solution to green waste and composting, particularly as it relates to fire mitigation and some of the ways in which that shows up as extra in our community.
May I answer that question?
Yeah.
So the city of Nevada City brought up the fact that currently disposing of cannabis waste in the value-added process legally is just like one of the most expensive waste streams on the planet. I think it all is classified as hazardous waste, and so it all is driven to the nearest hazardous waste facility in Central or Southern California and incinerated at like $1,000 a ton or something. And so the city of Nevada City brought up the point that here's yet another problem for a very niche part of our community that has the ability to save them money and also maybe be a part of the economic team that helps get some of these other waste streams kind of above water, so to speak. Where CRV has some funding attached to it, it's really, really hard in small towns to be financially sustainable. So how can we combine these various waste streams, save some of them money, and provide that economic critical mass to the entire proposal? And so I do think it's a great point that we can change the wording in the R3 proposal, because it's really a separate question to a local organic waste facility. The question, there's two questions. Yes, how can we make our local organic waste, which is primarily green waste, more effective and more affordable moving forward? And separately, is it a good economic idea to think about this small amount of businesses that pay this sky-high fee, and can they be part of the team? And so, yeah, we should make sure that that's clear. That's a very valid point.
Okay, so it's not either or, it's both and.
I think so.
Okay,
Yeah,
that makes sense.
that's how I read it.
So maybe I can make a suggestion to move this forward. what if staff said we move forward with the general fund contingency now? As part of the R3 process, what we'll ask them to do is look at how much of the compost could potentially come, because they're gonna have to estimate what the compost, how much is coming in. How much is coming in from maybe a cannabis, and how much is maybe coming in from fire vegetation reduction and that kind of stuff, and those kind of things. And then come back with the final report, which will come to council. Have a conversation about that and look at maybe reimbursing the contingency based on the report and the amount that could potentially be saved, or not saved, or, composted from a vegetation standpoint. So that it would kind of address some of the concerns we've heard, is that we would have a factual number to put to this saying that, okay, so the composting from vegetation-related issues that would relate to fire reduction maybe is 50% of the total compost. And if you assumed 1/3, 1/3, so then maybe our share should only be 50% of that 1/3 and come up with a number that is actually has some backing to it to support that. But move forward with the general fund, because I think it's important to move forward with. But I think we can come back and look at the actual, maybe a reimbursement if it shows that, the mechanism that's going to make this work and will have a real benefit to our community from, getting rid of green waste that, is vegetation related to vegetation management.
So what you're saying is that just use general fund and not use Measure B funds?
For now.
For-
And
well,
then
no,
once
for
the
now.
report is done, then bring
Then
it
come
back
back
to
in.
council and make that consideration. So then we would have the answer for Measure B in writing of saying, okay, here is the benefit directly to the vegetation management side of this, and maybe puts this cannabis side of things that could help fund it, that's critical, but would give us maybe a little more information of how to come up with that percentage. Because right now, I'm just saying 1/3, 1/3 kind of thing and putting it forward. So it would give us another opportunity to look at it, and who knows, they may say 90% of the material that's coming in is related to fire management. So I think then that would support the long-term vision of looking at long-term green waste solutions that was envisioned in the original scope of Measure B. if
And
that
I
makes
just,
sense.
I just want to reiterate, I just want to be clear that we hold true, because we've taken out 2 tax measures since I've been here. And we were very, very committed to both of them, doing exactly what we promised we would do. And I don't want to have any ambiguity at all as to, are we going to use it the way some of our opponents said that we were going to just take it, because since it's a general fund, that we were just going to take those funds and use them the way we want to. So I just want us to be very, very careful with that. And I appreciate Bob's comments, because he was here when we really vetted what this language is going to be and if we were even going to have it put on the ballot. So thank you for that.
Are there any other comments or questions? Okay, yeah, I am in agreement with my colleague Jan here that I think it's best to do it out of the general fund until we have full transparency to our taxpayers who entrusted us to ensure that we think about fire mitigation. And I know that's the spirit of what we're doing, but I do think that we start with the general fund. Do we need to amend this then, or?
Just the motion. We'll just take out Measure B funds in the motion. Is that correct, David? Yeah. Okay, then I'll make the motion that let me find it.
And before you, I'm going to
Oh, I'm
let
so
you, I would love to let you continue forward as is, and I just want to finish that with, there's not a single doubt in my mind that what we're doing is we're trying to figure out a way to make organic waste, which is primarily green waste, more effective for our community. So I just don't want to leave that ambiguity on the table, like there's some gray area here.
And like I said earlier, I
Yeah.
don't disagree with you.
Okay, right
I
on.
really don't disagree with you or the project. I just want to make it very clear that of how we're spending those taxpayer dollars because we were so intentional. And like Bob said, we only won by 20 votes. So there's still a lot of people that think that we are, have the potential to misuse those funds. And I want to make sure that we're very clear.
Yeah.
That we're using them correctly. So then I will make a motion that we review the proposal for a joint feasibility study with the City of Nevada City to evaluate development of a shared facility for CRV, local buyback, clear plastic recycling, and composting. Provide direction to staff regarding the city's participation in the proposed project, and authorize the city manager to enter in any necessary agreements, subject to legal review, to approve the use of general fund contingencies to cover the city's share of the feasibility study cost in coordination with Nevada City.
Second.
Okay. I have a amended motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? That passes. All right, the next item on our agenda is the Historical Commission Quarterly Update. Terry McIntyre, welcome.
Thank you very much. Thanks, Taylor, for amending the agenda on this. Appreciate it. Most importantly, I want to say thank you to the council and staff for helping us put together a nice event for Howard and Peggy yesterday. It was really important. I can't tell you how important it was to Howard to be able to put some closure on all the work that he's done. And to see him get choked up over Peggy was just as sweet as it gets. So thank you all. Thank you for the two of you for attending. In your packets our update. So our walking tours are doing great. We've raised about $500 towards item, which is item number 5 on this report. So people are donating to help us put some banners together, some historic banners. And so we've raised about $500. Our Heritage Homes books that you helped fund are out in being sold at this point. And so that's going well. Through Mr. Kaiser, we're helping to get a meeting together with the owner of the property at Lake Olympia. Mr. Singh, who's putting in the hotel, is interested in donating the property that used to be Lake Olympia to the city of Grass Valley. So that's about a 5-acre parcel. He has about 15 acres, 5 for the hotel that's going up, and another 5 that he currently has for sale right now, and that sits right behind the hotel. And he's interested and willing to give the other 5 to the city from the place where Lake Olympia was for many, many years, and one of the recreation spots of this community. And so we'll keep you informed as to that. I know that Jan and Haven are sort of our liaisons in terms of the Historic Commission, so we'll be meeting with Mr. Singh soon to be able to make that happen, hopefully. The walking tour is on its final completion, which is really great, and thanks to Miranda for her help in terms of putting it into this story map program. As I noted, we would like your thumbs up for the historic banners to be placed in Grass Valley. There are 31 banners currently, stanchions that allow for Merry Christmas, you know, those, I don't know, Happy Easter or whatever it is, that go on the poles throughout Mill Street. And so there are 31 of them. We're looking to raise $1,500, the commission, from private sources and from donations, and to be able to put historic places on there and historic people in this community that have had a great impact throughout the county, so that we just highlight history. We allow people to start to think, yeah, this is really a neat place to live because of our in-depth history. And so that's something we'd like your thumbs up on to keep going on that project. And our next quarterly report would list the 31 people on one side and then a historic place on the other side. And finally, we're looking to your thumbs up tonight to be able to go forward with a History Day in the county, not just the city, but in the county. The Historic Landmark Commission through the County of Nevada is willing to partner with us to be able to have a day on a Saturday where all families and this community can go visit historic places throughout our community. And not just Grass Valley, again, in Nevada City and in the county, and having those all free and open for the public to be able to go see our history. The county superintendent of schools, who I happen to have a good relationship, is willing to fund such, meaning that to be able to have brochures available for all K-8 kids in the county and for the public. So those are the items 5 and 6 are the ones I'm interested right now for your support so that we can move forward on those 2 items. And obviously, any questions, concerns that you have. Thank you.
Thank you so much for the update. I know Jan's on the ad hoc committee and Haven as well, and we appreciate their service there. Do I have any questions or comments?
Great job.
I have a few, because this is the moment where we all get to deliberate as a body. So this may have been asked, and I'm sure you've thought of it, and I apologize if I just haven't heard yet, because I think this is where we hear. The historic people and places, pole banners. I think, I just want to make sure I'm understanding correctly. You're talking about like where we put up the skeleton things with the Halloween dates and things like that on Mill Street. Are those the same pole banners?
Yes, he's looking at the banner poles that we
Okay.
have downtown, correct.
And are we collaborating with the Chamber and the Grass Valley Downtown Association? Because the timing I know that the city does
Well, all we want to be
decorations.
able to say is that when we're not here to conflict against Christmas and everything else. We're
Okay.
here to sort of, because there are times, months, that nothing is being celebrated or so, and so we just want to be that entity. And since the city puts the banners up, it would really be, I guess, the city talking to the chamber or so as to what they're wanting this next month.
Well, you're in luck, because Jan is also one of the liaisons to the chamber as well, so, and the GBDA. And so that works out. But of course, coordinating with the rest of our community who has some buy-in and some interest, I think would be important. But the spirit of it is something that I think is great, especially since you've already started garnering support in the form of donations. Just the coordination with our merchants and our business community. And anything about History Day on the 18th? Do you guys have any questions about that?
No, I think it's a great idea. I mean, I have to say, I know Haven's not here, but I'm sure that she would probably say something very similar. Having added those meetings with the Historical Commission, I think has helped us understand each other a little better, understand what they want to accomplish, as opposed to, well, this is what I want, this is what I want. So I just want to commend you, Terry, because you have been the forerunner on that, blowing up my email sometimes saying, we need to have a meeting. And I appreciate that. That's not a criticism at all. History Day, I think, is an amazing thing to do, especially because there is so much history here. And to have it with our school kids and have places like Empire Mine, the Julia Morgan House Without Your Story on it. And I think people need to understand just how much history was here.
Right.
And how many people came to this area. And it's not just Grass Valley, it is Nevada City and Western Nevada County as well. And how important it was during that particular time. I think that this is a really good idea. And I think it helps kids because I think we're losing a lot of our history. You know, it's kind of going by the wayside here and there, and this is just another way to bring it back. And so I really appreciate that for History Day. And I think that compromise could be reached with the Chamber and the Downtown Association for the banners and when they're placed, and why.
Yeah.
One quick comment, Terry, and I'll just say that, you know, when talking with people that don't live here and they see what we do here, they're very impressed. They wish that there was these types of things were going on in their town. So your emphasis and focus on this is very appreciated. It's very important, and I think it's what makes our community, you know, so great. And to keep people involved and continuing with this type of you know, practices is very important, and just so much appreciation of what you're doing.
Not at all, thank you. I will say that it sparked a conversation yesterday, because we're the only community that does recognize past members of society that have done great contributions, like the Levines. And the county staff and others started saying to themselves yesterday, gee, why aren't we doing a similar thing in the county and maybe in Nevada City, you know? It's important to recognize people who have made incredible contributions in this community.
So can I ask just one more question? Are you locked into the April 18th date?
No.
Okay, that was just something that you.
Well, it's sort of something we've thrown out with the superintendent of schools. You know, it doesn't conflict with Easter break, spring break, or other things, and sort of, you know, before it gets hot and all those kinds of issues. But if you have an idea for us.
Sometime in May, maybe, because May doesn't seem to have anything conflicting. There's no Easter, you know, so we don't have.
Right.
That kind
But
of
I
thing.
can
So
tell
the
you, in
month
terms
May.
of school stuff, that's when things start, that starts heating up for things. So anyway, okay.
We can talk
Thanks,
about
Jan, sure.
Yeah, there's never a dull day in Nevada County, but it is important to see if it's anybody else's day. We do have annual things that happen on the 3rd of whatever. The walking tour, because I don't know if this came across to the public, but I know that when you say a variety of platforms, one of the things that is a possibility is similar to our mural projects where you have a QR code.
Yes.
And I think that would be great for those of us who are still very excited about the history, but very current with technology, to be able to use our phones to find out more about the plaque we're looking at or the location.
So no, we're going to have 4 specific separate areas on the walking tour. One will be historic homes.
Okay.
So you can take the historic home walking tour. You can take the downtown historic walking tour. You can take the mural walking tour, and you can take the Citizen Star Award walking tour, so that people know who Bill Hollander was, and Howard and Peggy, et cetera. So there'll be 4 aspects to it. You'll pick, as you want to go on to this story maps, which one you're going to start at.
And those are self-guided through
Yes.
like an app.
Yes, but we'll have so that's going to be
And-
the app
and
part, and then we're going to have a brochure part, because a lot of people don't do that. And then we're looking at actually a booklet similar to Historic Homes booklet that will highlight these properties even more through some form of a booklet that you could purchase.
Excellent. And I know I'll be asked tomorrow at Wednesdays with the mayor, when is the next walking tour?
It's always the second Saturday of the month, and so we have August and September coming up, and that will sort of do it for our season. Six walking tours that are reaching a lot of people, and a lot of people are
And they're a
showing
lot
up.
of fun.
And where
Oh,
do
that's good.
people meet and at what time?
Yes, you'll meet at 10 o'clock at the right out here at the corner of South Auburn and Main.
Excellent.
Thank you very much for the time.
Terry, when will you have Lake Olympia swimmable and danceable again?
So Two
Probably
Creek,
not gonna happen.
one of the reasons is the property for Mr. Singh is probably not usable because there's 2 creeks that flow through it. And therefore, he's looking at, you know, some way to be able, for whatever tax advantages or whatever he gets. But on the other hand, it is one of those little plots that hasn't had anything done to it. and it would be a wonderful place to be able to preserve that area. Not saying we can get enough water in there to turn it into a lake, but we
Like a little
or a dance floor. But anyway, that will be coming before you hopefully in the near future. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Should I take public comment on that?
Oh, public comment on this item.
Well, I am, on behalf of our organizations, so gratified to see the Grass Valley Historic Commission visible. The energy and enthusiasm and public engagement, wow. Feels like they've gone from 0 to 60 in about 2 seconds. It is fabulous. I don't know if Terry's walked out the door yet, but
No.
Terry, thank you. Your leadership is so, it really is infectious. It truly is. So Terry spoke beautifully yesterday at the Howard and Peggy Levine ceremony. Very, very beautiful, by the way. And we're delighted to partner with the Historic Commission and the City of Grass Valley to support the Banner program. We think it's absolutely wonderful. We love supporting the history of our community. It is rich in history, and all those wonderful people who dedicated their time, their love, and their energy into making our town, our city, what it is today. They deserve some recognition. So thank you, Historic Commission, for taking on this project.
First, I just want to echo what Robin was saying, that I'm thrilled to see what the Historic Commission is doing now. All these projects, I think they're great at elevating our history in the public eye. I just have 2 suggestions for the History Day. Since it's regional, I want us to remember, first of all, that we have a cultural historical district that covers this region and has been very active in promoting the community. They should certainly be part of this, and I assume they will be. Secondly, our history goes back earlier than the gold rush, and we need to remember that there are still people here living in the community who come from a Native heritage, and as a minimum, they should be invited to participate in any sort of a history day, and let that be in whatever way they might want to do that, but they should definitely be included in the planning process. Thank you.
Thank you. I don't see anybody else for public comment. Are there any here in the chambers? Are there any in the virtual world?
There are no additional public comments.
Excellent. I will now close public comment, and I do want to echo Bob's sentiments that our Historical Commission certainly include the Native people in a history day, and I'm sure that was considered, and I want to make sure that we just put that on record for sure. Okay. We will go on to the next thing, which is brief reports by council members. Joe.
All right, well, the big thing that we did on Monday, the 14th, was the ad hoc meeting, Tom and I, with the skating community, really the public at large. It was, it definitely was a good discussion, and I think a lot of good ideas came out of it. We discussed, grants, community events, what the coalitions can do. And I think we brought the maybe different sides of the community together a bit on that in that meeting, and we're just looking forward to progress and solve problems. So,
Excellent, thank you, Jan.
Let's see, I attended the League of California Cities Sacramento Valley Division, which we are a part of in Rancho Cordova. We had a great presentation on some of the things that they're doing. In fact, I text Alex and asked if he knew that particular police chief, and he did not. I happened to because Rancho Cordova is a contract city, their police chief and assistant chief actually work for the Sacramento County Sheriff's Department. The now assistant chief, I knew when his mom was pregnant with me. Talk about feeling old. But Chief Tamayo they're implementing something that that they're supposed to send me the copies of the presentation, and I'm gonna send to Alex. I think we can incorporate some of this stuff in the city. So it was a really good presentation there. I attended the Nevada County Law and Fire Committee meeting. We have our salute to the first responders on August 16th at the North Star House. All proceeds go directly to our first responders. We, as a organization, supply things that are nice to have but cannot be put in their budgets. And that's both for police and fire within the entire county. So it's a really good fundraiser. If you don't go to many, it's a good one. And this one is very casual. We're having Bill's Chuck Wagon. So, if you have a Chuck Wagon, you can wear your jeans. So I also was on the town with Mike Stewart. I don't know, he's the fire chief in the little town of Washington, as well as now he is the fire chief for North San Juan. Kind of spread apart, but he says he can do it. He is a fascinating person. I don't know if any of you, I never knew that he knows so much history. He actually has a show on KNCO where he talks about different parts of our history, which falls right in line with what our Historic Commission. He was fascinating. So that was really good. I am now officially an honorary commander for the 195th National Guard Wing. Under Colonel Christopher Johnson, I get inducted or sworn in or whatever on August the 1st. So I don't know what that entails, but I'm in. So the National League of Cities, I was at a conference last week in Columbus, Ohio. It was really good. The topic of conversation, as I'm sure everybody was know, is how cities are going to navigate the new big, beautiful bill and what it truly means and what it doesn't. And so they're dissecting it on a daily basis. And they will be sending out what their analysis of what it is and how it can affect cities, because there's a lot of miscommunication and misperceptions and a lot of fear. And they're trying to work together to try and dispel that. We visited the University of Ohio in Athens. Athens was a cute little walkable university town, which was kind of cute. That's the home of the current National League of Cities president. Public Safety Policy Committee. We had a discussion regarding fire equipment, and I text Mark. I text from wherever we are if I need to. And the discussion that they were having is that a lot of the fire departments throughout the country are having, number one, getting their fire equipment delivered. Mark says we have ours in October, fingers crossed. But some of them are using not the company we use, but another company or other companies. And they've been a long time coming, but these companies are charging them more than their original contact. I'm not sure how that's legal, but that's what's happening. And so that's why I text Mark and asked him, I said, do we have this? And are we doing it? And no, we aren't. No, they haven't. They were going to get it in October, and it's not the companies that they were using. I attended Starry Nights. I don't think I've missed one since I've been on council. Always a wonderful time. Beautiful, under the stars kind of thing. And of course, Howard Star. How could we ever forget the star at Howard and Peggy Levine and how much they contributed to this city in many, many ways, not just his term on the council, but at the North Star House, Peggy's passion of restoring it. So which makes having the salute to first responder even more special, because it is going to be at the North Star House. And that's it, I'm done.
Okay, Councilmember Ivey.
I attended the Nevada County Transportation Commission on our behalf. There's the, I didn't write down the name of the document, but the general plan, so to speak, for the Nevada County Transportation Commission. Their guiding document is currently seeking public comment, and so that has in it some interesting stuff, especially for those of us that want to speak up. Now's the time. You can find that on the Nevada County Transportation Commission website. Attended the Pioneer Community Energy Board meeting, and what's of note is that the Pioneer Community Energy is doubling in size, so it's just kind of interesting times, and that the energy markets have come back to earth a little bit. So hopefully we won't see as many price increases, especially from the non-PG&E aspects like Pioneer. And then I got to participate in the skate community ad hoc committee meeting, and yeah, it was a really good experience. Lots of great things to talk about, and I want to say that Councilor Bonamola did a really great job of helping us bury the hatchet, so to speak, take some leadership roles there, and bring some of the folks back together. So that's it for me. Thank you.
Before you move on and come to me, the current transportation plan that is seeking public input, is that a good place for people who have a passion for bike lanes to communicate their needs, wants, hopes, dreams?
100%. Thank you.
Excellent.
Yes, as well as pedestrian transportation in all its forms. So walking, biking, driving, if you have a bone to pick. I wish I was seeking the exact web link for it, but folks, if they can't find it on the Nevada County Transportation Commission website, I'd be happy to respond to any email and get that information to anyone.
Cool. Thank you. Yeah, the summer is very exciting here in Nevada County. I hosted Wednesdays with the mayor on the 9th in the mayor's conference room upstairs at City Hall, and I'll be doing that again tomorrow. I try and do afternoon and mornings on and off. Tomorrow is a morning one. It's at 9 a.m. Attended the GVDA merchants meeting, and we talked about some of the upcoming events and different ways to solve parking problems. Lots and lots of feedback, and it was really good discussion. I attended the Nevada County Creatives Meetup at the Grass Valley Cultural Center, locally known as St. Joseph's Hall, and got to have a tour of the Grass Valley Museum, and it is really, really cool. They do them very often, and I think everyone should go. It's lots of fun. I did not know that Lola Montez had a pet grizzly bear, and now I know that. So that's just one reason to see what's going on over there. I got to see Present Laughter at the Nevada Theater. Even though that's in Nevada City, we do have some Grass Valley residents in the show. It was very funny and very fun. Highly recommended. I think it's still going on for a few more weekends. Of course, Howard Levine Star was lovely. It was so great to have him back in our community for an evening to be celebrated, because he gave so much to this community and was the mayor when I first got on the council, and a wonderful mentor and role model. And that was really, really great. I also want to note, there's lots of library programming right now. If you're not sure, you don't have to have kids. You could just be the kid. It's open to all ages, but they have musical Mondays. They had movie night tonight with Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. So if you're ever thinking like, I don't know what to do, I don't want to spend any money, the library is your place. It's a really big lineup. Starry Nights was lovely, although I did get stung by a yellow jacket, but I will say that the doctors on site at the event were quite attentive, and that was lovely. National Night Out is going to be at Memorial Park on the 6th, 5th.
It's the 5th.
5th. And again, Wednesdays with the mayor tomorrow here at 9.